Hello chess friends and welcome to your side of chess channel and welcome to an amazing game of yesterday's chess.com title Tuesday. We have here Magnus Carlsen against Renato from Peru in a beautiful advanced variation of the French defense. And usually I don't cover so many times this fast time format games, but this game is really amazing. First of all, Magnus pulled off here such a high level of accuracy. He played almost with 100% accuracy in such a fast time format. This is really crazy. And the cool part is that I think this game can be really an instructive game here for you. You can have, I think, here a great preparation by using maybe some of these methods that you see now by Magnus Carlsen in your home preparation against the French defense, because many times I think we struggle, we battle just to search maybe for attacking opportunities. In the French, many times the position gets blocked out in the center. We don't know what to do. We don't want to advance our pawns too much. We don't want to play too risky. But then again, the pawn structure is blocked out, where to attack, where to defend. So it's really a tough positional battle. But Magnus will pull off here a beautiful gambit line, will sacrifice one pawn just to have the initiative. In my opinion, really beautiful approach that has to be studied deeper. Really a beautiful idea to have an attacking formation from move one. So when it comes to the title Tuesday results, Magnus Carlsen shared second place. Good result, I think. But the cool part is that Gata Kamsky, the old master, won the super event. I recently covered a beautiful gameplay by Gata Kamsky 2 weeks or something ago. Really incredible player he is. He outplayed many top grandmasters and is now the deserved winner of the title Tuesday of this month. So let's see now this beautiful advanced variation pull off here by Magnus Carlsen and Renato. Magnus opened with the move e4. Renato Terry's response was e6. The French d4, we have the d5, and now the move e5, the advanced variation. Now, usually, of course, black breaks now the central control here with this move c5, is of course trying to undermine the center. Now Magnus protects the center, and now usually black, of course, continues the pressure around the square d4. Magnus defends it. We have now the move bishop to d7. This is now the so-called weight variation of the advanced variation of the French defense, and the idea is clear. In this scenario, black is trying to trade off the bad bishop on d7 for white's good bishop on f1, which is a good, very favorable trades of pieces when you think about it. Harder for black, so black will lose maybe a couple of tempi just in order to get bishop into the game, but is hoping to really get finally rid of this bad piece, which is really blocked out by its own pawn structure. So usually you have really problems where to go with the light square bishop. Magnus plays now the move bishop to d3. If you play now bishop to b5, immediately it seems like your main plan that you try to do, then the game becomes really complicated. After d takes c5, bishop to c5, now comes this idea, b4, and you can maybe try this one. Bishop takes f2. This is not working because king to e2, bishop to d3, queen to d3 is now actually trapping the bishop. So okay, you destroyed here white's possibility to castle. You also decoyed now the king to the center, but you don't have any more attacking chances. So this attack would be simply too rushed, and white is winning the game here for sure. You could also try here bishop to e7. You don't have to, of course, take out the pawn on f2, but now bishop to e3 kicks away the queen. You step back, but now look at this, bishop to c2. Okay, still black has these chances here on this diagonal, but after something like knight to d7, look at this, a4, bishop c4, knight k3 is really tricky from this point on. I think it's a messed up game here for black. b5, knight takes c4 is going to happen. Still this bishop is targeting the bishop on e7, took the natural square for the knight. So in my opinion, this is again a one-way ticket in white's favor. So see, this whole concept to trade off the bishop on b5 can be maybe your later approach, your later strategy, but not immediately, because you have to still castle and notice you haven't developed any of your pieces. So this whole progress would be simply also too rushed in the beginning of this opening. So after move bishop to d3, that's why Renato played c takes d4, and now comes Magnus Carlsen's beautiful idea. He played kingside castle, sacrificed simply one pawn, didn't want to go into this normal structure. You can of course play c takes d4, knight to d4, but now after kingside castling, Magnus is now waiting Renato to take here the pawn on c3 and inviting this other knight into the game, and then slowly but surely Magnus Carlsen would have a beautiful piece activity as a compensation for the lost pawn in the opening stage. So Renato Teddy plays normal chess, knight to c6, normal development, rook to e1, controlling the e5 pawn. The e5 pawn is now really the main strength of white here. We have now space advantage on the 5th rank, supported by the knight, supported by the rook, which also makes here black's life really hard, because knight to e7 blocks out the bishop on e7. If you play knight to h6 in order to develop, then again it will simply play bishop to h6, getting also messed up pawn structure here on the king side. If you play something like bishop to c5 here, then to follow up with knight to e7, it's also not working. Look at this, b4, you step back, now we play b5, you can play knight to a4, now knight to d4, and here in my opinion this is not a good game anymore for black. White will simply get the queen on g4, will eventually also attack the pawn on g7, so again this is not working. So that's why after rook to e1, knight from g to e7 was played by Teddy, and now look at this, the knight is again blocking out the bishop, so black has here really problems to develop. Magnus goes for the immediate attack here on the king side, which is of course the way to go, because our pawn here on e5 is of course on the right side, on the king side of the board, so that's the side that we should attack. And here also, even if you try queenside Carlsen to maybe get out of this mess, again it's risky. Look at this, knight to a3, knight to f5, bishop to f5, we take, and now the c file, b file could be open in the next couple of moves, although still it is playable of course for both sides. But in these types of positions where we would have opposite sides, the kings on opposite sides, of course who is faster on the attack will eventually have his fun here. So in my opinion, white could have make immediate progress here on the c file, especially. We'll have also bishop to g5 as an option, rook to c1, maybe also some ideas of a3, b4, b5. So the pawn attack here on the queen side is also, I think, something that would bother here black in the continuation. So after move h4, here Renato Teddy played a6, didn't castle queen side. We have now move h5, Magnus continues the pressure. Here we have the blockade, and now Magnus develops simply his knight further in the game. Now we have finally d takes c3, because Teddy waited, of course, this knight to come on d2, then he will eventually take like he did. We have b takes c3, and now queen to c7, attacking now also further the pawn on e5 and getting also out of the potential mess on the b file, because rook to b1 would be really a huge threat now by white. Now Magnus of course plays c4. He noticed that the king is simply stuck in the center, at least for a while now. Of course, black can improve the position of the king, but you have to lose many moves. Now Magnus is opening the center immediately. Teddy attacks now the bishop. Magnus drops back, protects still the pawn on c4, and now after d takes c4, knight to c4, look at this. Magnus has now a huge square here to jump to the square d6. It's almost hard really to protect it. Even if you play knight to f5, then of course we'll simply kick away in one particular moment the knight. Bishop to f4 will happen, knight to d6, rook to c1. Again, it's a tough time, really tough game here for black to defend everything here in the center of the board. So after move knight to c4 that Magnus played, Renato Teddy played knight to d5, and Magnus played bishop to b2, simply controlling the square c3. Here we have bishop to c5, and now Magnus jumps on this beautiful, really amazing square for the knight. Whatever you do, look at this, bishop to d6 you can play, will takes, would simply also take out this pawn. You can maybe attack the g file, but Magnus would probably, of course, in this position drop back, and now after something like a3, bishop to h2. In my opinion, this is a messed up game here for black. Look at the dark square problems that black would have in this scenario. Bishop to c4 is going to happen. Bishop takes d5 for sure. The e file could be opened. We have some weaknesses here. Queen can come maybe here, attack the pawn on h6. So many attacking ideas come to my mind, but only for white. Black is here, I think, simply on the defensive side. So after move knight to d6, Teddy played king to f8, try to defend the position in a different way. Magnus connects now the rooks, which is a good move. Bishop to queen to b6, attacking now the pawn on f2, and Magnus simply plays rook to b1, includes now the last piece into the game. This is the way to go. Magnus applied here really many beautiful principles of chess: fast development, gambit line, including all of the pieces, getting the pieces on most active square, playing aggressively, simple threat ideas. So cool really opportunities here for white. So queen to a7, Magnus gets rid now of the main strength of black, which is now this long diagonal. We have a couple of trades of bishops here on d4, and now queen to c5, a3, and now rook takes b7. Here Magnus Carlsen is finally breaking the position now. The king is really endangered, and from this point on, the game is a one-way ticket in white's favor. So whatever you do, you can maybe try this one, taking out here the knight on d4, but then again, after a couple trades of pieces, black is getting destroyed here simply on the 7th rank. You can play maybe f5, but look at this, knight is coming, rook is coming for me, this rook is coming on the d file, bishop to c4 can happen, so you're getting destroyed here around the square e6. You cannot even compete against this rook because your rooks are not connected. So again, messed up game here for black. So after move rook to b7 here, Renato Terry tried rook to d8, Magnus simply took, knight takes c6, bishop to c6. You can also take out with the queen, but again, it's not working. The queen gets kicked away. Look at this, rook to c4, queen to a3. We can take out this one, rook to c8. You're getting destroyed again at the back ranks. Look at this, how bad it is when you don't castle, when you don't have the rook connection. You can get destroyed on the 8th rank, so it's also not working. So after move knight to c6, bishop to c6, the rook to c1 here, played by Magnus Carlsen, kicking away the queen. Also a rook takes f7 would be also good move, but Magnus played more active here, and now Renato Terry went for this line, queen to d6, e takes d6, and now he gained the minor piece and the rook for the queen. In some other positions, maybe this would be playable. You have maybe a pawn and a rook and a piece for the queen, maybe, but not in these positions. As we said, your problem is that you don't have the rook connection. And look at this, queen to b2, simply attacking the bishop, bishop to a6. Finally, Renato Terry is desperately trying to connect somehow the rooks, but now this rook is coming into the game after a couple of rooks, trade rooks on the 8th rank. We have now the move d7, knight to f6, we have queen to c2, bishop to e4, and after move queen to c7. Here in this position, Renato Terry resigns. So you have to here, I think, give up the piece for the pawn, and then of course white would continue the game with the queen versus rook, and still with this endangered king position. So we have here also pass pawn, which is in my opinion unstoppable. So it's a fair resign here by Renato Terry. So great game, I think, by Magnus. Interesting ideas of the French defense. Let's go really back to this opening moves. Here bishop to d3, after c takes d4, kingside castling, simply playing more active here. Magnus, I think, found here really nice attacking chances, spiced up the game with his beautiful gambit line. In my opinion, really cool approach against the French defense. So okay, I hope that you enjoyed this game. I really enjoyed it a lot. Interesting ideas. All of this is a fast time format. Magnus Carlsen played here almost with 100% accuracy. Really amazing game here played by Magnus. If you want to see more about the French defense, check out also here the playlist on my YouTube chess channel. And if you like this content, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. See you soon with more videos, and what to say. Chess is the best, of course.